Hey guys, it's Kayla. I am back from the 2024 International Quilt Festival in Houston, Texas. I had so much fun. I got to meet some of my online friends in real life and got to see my quilt hanging in the show, and I also got to buy some stuff, but I was very limited on what I could bring home because we had an airplane ride back up to Ohio. So I've got some tips and tricks for the first time festival goer that I think would be helpful if you are planning your visit to the Houston International Quilt Festival for next year. We left super early in the morning from Ohio. We woke up at 2 a.m., left the house at 3 a.m., and flew out of Columbus. And so it was a bit of a trek on the way down. We arrived to the festival about a half an hour before the doors opened, I guess you would say. And that was the perfect timing. Since we didn't have our room yet, they have a spot right outside of the door where you can store your, and we just did carry-on luggage, but it was, I believe, $4 a bag for storage, and they kept it safe for you. They returned it whenever you turn your ticket back in. The cab was pretty simple. We just walked outside, told the airport personnel that we needed a cab, gave them the address, and we made it there in about 30 minutes from the airport. So just kind of jumping right into, as we walked in, the thing that I think that I wish I would have known is that they have a program of the festival, and in here, I'd say it's more helpful for the vendor side than it is for the show side, because I could have tracked where we were on this map and not lost our place. If you get the program and you mark out vendors that you specifically want to stop by, find their number and put a little star on where they are at the map, on the map, I think that would have made things a lot easier. So they have the exhibitors or the vendors alphabetically. So if you're looking for somebody in particular, but they also have the vendors listed by category. So I don't know if you can see, for instance, sewing machines and the companies that are there, you have alphabetical underneath of the category. I wish that I would have paced myself just a little bit better because it is such a huge area that you have to be ready for Disney level of walking. It is so much bigger than what I realized. My feet are actually still sore. I was having trouble walking the first night. Once the show and the vendor side was closed, I was so ready to sit down, so thankful for a chair. So some things that I'm glad that I did do, I'm glad that I took comfortable shoes and have my comfortable inserts. And I'm very glad that I walked through everything 3 times, because each time that I walked through both sides of the festival, I found new things that I didn't see the time before. And we took our time walking through, but I feel like if I only gave myself one walkthrough on each side, I would have missed so many things that I needed to see. I'm just really glad that I went, because I am so inspired to, I have a quilt that I'm working on that I kind of put to the side because I was feeling uninspired about it. And I'm so glad that I kind of rekindled the want to finish that quilt. So I'm glad that I went to walk myself through, you know, all these different masterpieces. They're not just a quilt. These are literal works of art. And I am so glad that I got to go and experience this. I do wish that I would have added an extra day on the front, or an extra day or 2 to take some classes. And I will take classes if I go back down, specifically a long arm class, and maybe something else that's like completely new, because obviously we always need new hobbies to get into. I do wish that I would have added some extra time to take some classes. So while we were over on the exhibitor side or the vendor side, I got to test drive some long arms, my husband and I both. And I wish I would have taken pictures of some of the free motion quilting that I did, because I always feel bad to walk into a quilt shop and test drive a long arm knowing that I'm not ready to buy yet. I always feel like I'm wasting the quilt shop owner or employee's time by test driving a long arm when I know for a fact that I'm not ready to buy one. So going to the festival and trying out all the different brands that they had available to try out really helped me narrow down my selection. I've narrowed it down to my top 3 brands and their models, but I feel like I definitely need more time to make such a huge investment. So here is a picture of me and my husband with my quilt foraging for food in a landfill. It was such an honor to see my quilt hanging in this show. And you know what was even more honoring or even humbling about it was watching people look at my quilt, and I couldn't hear what they were saying, but just, you know, everybody leaning in close and really studying how I did it, which it's not a secret. If you want to know how I do any of the stuff that I do, I will be more than happy to explain. I can't even describe the feeling of how honoring it was to see my quilt hanging there. I also made 2 jackets, one for me and one for my husband, specifically for this festival. It is the Patchwork and Poodles patchwork chore coat pattern. For my husband, I sized down a size and lengthened the length of the jacket. I want to go over some of the deals that I got at the quilt show and just kind of show you what I returned home with. So obviously the first thing that I had to buy was a shirt for the 50th anniversary of the festival. So I saw this shirt. The ladies at Handy Quilter were wearing this shirt, and I just had to have it because it is just the perfect amount of design without all the words. I also got this one for myself. It says weekend forecast quilting with no chance of house cleaning or cooking. And actually Samuel picked that one out for me because that is typically my weekend forecast. I did get this shirt for my mom, and it said, "Blessed are the quilters, for they shall be called peacemakers." I think one of the main things that I'm always running out of because of the expense is thread. And I stopped by the Wonderfill area and I needed a variegated tan for a face quilt that I'm working on, or a portrait, I guess you would say. And I also could always use an off-white piecing thread. This is supposed to be completely lint-free. It is Egyptian cotton, but it's lint-free because it's double gassed. So we'll see how this works for me. I'm hoping that I like it. I absolutely love the Superior thread, specifically the King Tut thread from Superior on my mom's mid-arm. So they had a 4-pack of thread. I felt like the colors were absolutely perfect for a Tula or K-Facet quilts. So we got Limestone, South Pacific, and these are all variegated as well. I really like variegated thread. Nile Delta, and I already have this one, Harem. So I got those 4 in the 4-pack. I also needed another variegated tan. This one's called Sahara Shadows, and this is also for the face quilts. So I have these 2, one's dark, one's light. There's a lot of different tans in this quilt. The face quilt was predominantly all neutral tans. They also had the Superior Pima, and I got a 6-pack because it was cheaper this way in all of these darks. And the reason I grabbed this one is because I'm out of dark blue. Since I spent over $100 at that booth, I also got a free 10 fat quarters from Connecting Threads Shimmer Tonals. So I'm pretty excited about these ones as well. So that was my experience at the International Quilt Festival. I am excited about going back, and if I do decide to buy a long arm, I'm gonna say 99% chance that I'll travel back down because the deals were that worth it. Yeah, that's it. If you have any questions, let me know, and maybe I'll see you at a quilt show in the future.